Good evening, members. Welcome to your annual member meeting. It's so great to be with you tonight. My name is John Tashiro, General Manager here at the Co-op, and I'm joined by our Board President, Christina Sweet.
Thank you, John. Again, welcome everyone to your member meeting. Thank you so much for joining us virtually tonight, and I do hope to see you all in person in the future.
So I'm sure that people might be wondering how many people might have RSVP'd for this member meeting, and the exact numbers are 324. Great RSVP rate from our members. So welcome, and I'm sure many of you, hopefully you had an opportunity to pick up your snack packs that we were offering at our tablings across the two stores over the last couple of days, and hope you're enjoying them. I guess just in a moment, I'll ask Christina to take us through the agenda for this meeting this evening. But before I do, just wanted to take care of some housekeeping. So the first is, if you have any technical difficulties during the show, we have folks on hand to help you. And you'll probably see at the bottom of the screen that you can either email us at membersupport@citymarket.coop or call us at 802-651-9516. Also, if you have any questions during the presentation, please enter them into the Q&A panel. We'll certainly collect them and address them towards the latter part of the meeting. And if we don't get to your question, we will be sure to follow up afterwards. So with that, over to you, Christina, for the agenda.
Thanks, John. Well, as John mentioned, my name is Christina Sweet, and I'm currently the president of the Board of Directors of City Market Onion River Co-op. I've been a member of the co-op for 10 years and a member of the board since the beginning of 2020. And while I'm the only board member you'll see here tonight, I'm one of 9 dedicated board members serving our co-op. So each month, I meet with our board vice president, Rubin Jennings, treasurer, Jody Landon, secretary, Megan Diffenderfer, and members Eric Boehm, Allison Fiore, Joanna Grossman, Mile Trong, and Sam Werbel to guide the work of our co-op in achieving our global ends. Members are welcome at all of our monthly board meetings, and you can learn more about attending a meeting or get in touch with any member of the board on the Board of Directors page on the City Market website. Over the past year, we also formed a new Board Perpetuation Committee, and it's a great way to get involved with the co-op or learn more about board service. If you'd like to get in touch with the committee, I encourage you to contact our board secretary, Megan Diffenderfer, who's currently chair of the committee. Now, on our agenda today, we're looking forward to hearing from several of this year's board candidates, and that will be followed by the winner of our 2022 Community Service Award. Then we'll move into the business portion of the meeting and learn about the co-op's progress and direction over the past year. Finally, we'll have the opportunity to answer your questions about our meeting today or about the co-op in general. Now we have the chance to hear from several of the Board of Directors candidates who are running for election this year. And I really want to thank the community engagement team for working with the candidates who were able to come in and record videos in the community room where I'm sitting right now with John. The voting does begin today, and I strongly encourage you to vote and have a voice in the future of your co-op. In addition to the introductions we'll see shortly, you can also read information submitted by each of the 9 board candidates on the website and in the elections mailer that you'll receive in your mailbox as soon as tomorrow. Great. So stay tuned for that. So we're going to meet the board candidates now who are ready to serve City Market.
Greetings, I'm Alan Rubin, and I'm applying to be a member of the board of City Market. I'm 79 years old, and I'm a retired physician and professor at the medical school at the University of Vermont. In all those years, I practiced medicine, internal medicine, and taught young students how to become good listeners and good communicators. And I still do lots of work in communication teaching, especially now for police and EMTs and social workers. My wife and I have lived downtown in Burlington on College Street for the last 25 years, and we've shopped at this store since 2002 when it opened. And City Market has been the primary source of our groceries, and I'm the primary grocery shopper. We fill up every Saturday, but almost every day I stop by walking down from work or home to pick up the stuff we need for the day. I love City Market. It's an important part of our life, and I've made many friends in the staff, and I'd have a hard time living without them. Our goal is to age safely and well at home, and City Market helps us do that. So far, so good. And my hope is, if I join the board, to be able to represent elderly folks and helping them with convenience and shopping and safety. And I hope you'll consider me for the board. Thanks so much.
I'm Jody Landon. I'm currently finishing my third year of a first term on the co-op board. As a longtime co-op member, 1976 for a start time in a buying group in Archibald Street, I have respected the work of the many co-op boards as they navigated the changes the community required. I chose to run 3 years ago because I was retiring and I had more time to contribute to the organizations I valued. One day, as I arrived to do my shopping, I looked at the photograph of the then current group on the sandwich board in front of the South End store and thought, no one looks like me. I hope the board to be reflective of the diverse membership we have, and so I brought my status as a senior to bear on my decision. In discussion with a board member at the time, I learned that the board was eager to diversify, and I was fortunate enough to be elected. Since that time, we see a board doing the same good work of former boards, I trust, with a rich blend of ideas and experiences. In addition, I am treasurer of the board and a member of a newly formed committee to explore and encourage board succession. I would like to continue this work. I am also on the board of the Converse Home, one of only 2 nonprofit assisted living and memory care facilities in Chittenden County, where I served 3 years as board chair. Finally, when I told my son I had decided to run for a second term, he reminded me that I am now 3 years more qualified to fill the role of a senior than I was when I first ran. Sometimes your children can bring stunning clarity.
Hello there, my name is Joe DeCarle, and I'm running for Board of Directors here at the Co-op. I live here in Burlington with my partner Annie and our dog Rody, and I couldn't be more excited for this opportunity. As the owner of a B Corporation, community-focused business is something I am very passionate about. Over the last 9 years, we have purchased over 3 million pounds of organic tropical ingredients from small family farms in Thailand. And today, I'm ready to bring that experience and passion here to the co-op. We have a great opportunity to bring the co-op forward and address the many challenges of today's economy while building community. It would be my honor and pleasure to have a role in helping the co-op do this. Thank you for your support and consideration.
Hi, my name is Mitchell Manacek. I've been a City Market member for about a decade now, and I believe I have a range of experiences that would be a valuable addition to the board of directors. I have a deep understanding of the needs of this business. That's because I've held a wide variety of positions in the food industry, starting when I was just a kid, learning how to work with food and community at my parents' small local butcher shop and catering kitchen in the Chicagoland area. Since then, I've worked in large-scale institutional food service, small seasonal farm-to-table dining, and most recently, 4 years right here at the co-op. I started at City Market as a produce buyer for the downtown store, where I had the privilege of working really closely with our local farmers and regional vendors to bring fresh fruits and vegetables to the community on a daily basis. And then I transitioned to the people and culture team, where I got to deepen my relationships with our management and staff and really get a close-up look at what makes City Market work. Since I left my employment at City Market, I've had a little bit of a career change. I'm now a marketing strategist working with clients who are leading the clean energy transition that we desperately need for the benefit of our climate and economy. And I know that City Market is also a leader in that space in terms of running a clean and energy efficient business. And I would hope to bring my expertise in that area to the board as well. I also hold an MBA from Norwich University. And I'm excited about this prospect to sit on the board because I would hope to be able to help City Market continue its legacy of leadership in our community, both locally and in the broader co-op movement. I do believe City Market is a vital resource where people can get ingredients that they trust, where people can access a safe space, and where our farmers and producers can find a home for their products. So it would be an honor for me to serve on the co-op board.
Greetings, fellow City Market members and friends. I'm Bob Wolf, and I'm honored to be asking for your support to serve as a City Market Board candidate. Why am I running? Well, in 2019, I ran unsuccessfully because I've always been intrigued by City Market's success over the years. After going through the pandemic, I'm extremely thankful and grateful to all the employees who helped our community in so many ways and want to give back through my service to City Market. City Market is more than a grocery store. Over the past 50 years, much of City Market's success can be attributed to its local mission, which has made it a leader in our community and an economic engine for our local farmers. Our family has been buying groceries at the downtown market since its opening, and I love the store experience, including over 300 helpful and friendly employees, green design, and a beautiful new South End store. And I've always had an interest in plants and food supply from UVM. So what do I have to offer as a board candidate? I've been in banking for close to 40 years and have a strong understanding of business finance, accounting, and budgeting. I've been very active in many community organizations as I feel giving back to our community is important. I've served in several capacities at the First Congregational Church, just up the street on South Winooski Avenue. Other groups include Good News Garage, which includes providing affordable transportation to those in need, Rebuilding Together, a home rehabilitation organization allowing people to remain in their homes, and many school activities when our girls attended Burlington Public Schools. I'm excited at the prospect to be able to serve City Market as a board member and hope you'll vote for me. Thank you for taking the time to listen.
Hello everyone, my name is Ruth DeCarle and I have been part of City Market since 2020. I'm excited to run for the board, and if given this opportunity, it will allow me to learn more about our community and gain knowledge in order to better serve the community. My experience has been on nonprofit boards and volunteering in a nonprofit area. My experience in co-ops have been through my parents, who believed in co-ops and instilled in me that through co-ops and volunteering, it was a better way to serve the community. City Market has been a welcoming place to me. I can buy from Vermont-based farms and so much more. And when I say so much more, I am talking about the members. We are the community, and we are all part of City Market. During these turbulent and promising times, City Market has stayed true. In closing, I would like to say I look forward to being part of the board, and if you choose me, thank you.
Hi, my name is Sam Werbel, and I'm running for the City Market Board of Directors. I'm hoping that you'll give me your vote. I am a born and raised Vermonter, and I've been living in Burlington for about the past 15 years. I just recently started serving on the board, and thus far it's been not only a delight, but really interesting to see how this cooperative form of governance works. I've had a lifelong passion in local food systems, starting growing up with my family's small vegetable farm and selling eggs on the side of the road, to working in the Agency of Agriculture in the state of Vermont for a number of years. That has now transferred into working in this board, and I hope that you'll re-elect me. I am running as an incumbent because I am the newest member of the board, and I hope that you'll let me continue this work that I just started doing.
Hi, my name is Simon Bird, and I hope to earn your vote for City Market Board. I first joined the then Onion River Co-op in 1999 while a freshman at UVM. I rejoined the now City Market Co-op when returning to Burlington, and have remained a committed member ever since. Now raising a family in Burlington, I just love shopping at City Market. My kids see and get excited about the local farm names they see on the shelves. The friendly and helpful staff are great to interact with, and my kids learn and get excited for healthy food that they see in the shop. I've worked in mission-driven business for over 10 years. I'm I know the power that these businesses have to achieve social and environmental change. But I also am familiar with the balance in these businesses in providing such benefits while also creating a thriving business. My work also entails working with people from many cultures and backgrounds and understanding how to communicate effectively and work collaboratively to make decisions and create projects. City Market is an incredible asset in our community. I want to ensure that City Market continues to achieve its goals in promoting local agriculture and being a source of healthy and delicious food in our community. And also that City Market is an inclusive shop that reflects and represents our community, and it serves everybody equally. Thank you very much.
Wow, just so great to hear from all of our board candidates. And as mentioned earlier, voting is open now through Wednesday, November the 2nd. Members can vote up to 3 candidates, and as always, your vote counts. So we'd really encourage you to vote. To find more details and the online ballot, you can find them at www.citymarket.coop/elections 2022. That information will be available again toward the end of the presentation, so you can also see it then. But really just wanted to encourage everyone to vote, recognizing its importance.
Thanks, John, and what a great group of candidates. So next, I'm excited to introduce the winner of this year's Community Service Award in honor of Don Schramm. The Board of Directors presents this award to a community member who shows outstanding commitment to cooperative principles, visionary leadership, or service to our community. The awardee will also receive a $300 City Market gift card and a gift from a local partner. Now, we did make a couple of changes to the award this year, including making it possible for any member of our community to be recognized by the award, where previously only co-op members were eligible for this award. We also reworked the title of the award, but it does remain in honor of the hard work and dedication of Don Schramm. And I know Don is on the meeting right now, so hi, Don, and thank you for your dedication to the co-op. This year, the board recognizes Susan Dees for her work in fostering community and serving others. Susan is a volunteer with Age Well, and she's donated over 700 hours of her time over the past 3 years. Her kindness, compassion, and dedication are truly inspiring, and we are honored to acknowledge Susan for these contributions to our community. So congratulations, Susan Dees.
Hi, I'm Susan Dees, and I am incredibly humbled by receiving this award this year. I went back and watched a few videos of some previous recipients and found that this is really a platform to sell my agency that I love so near and dearly. So that's what I'm here to do today, is just say a little bit about Age Well and why I'm so in love with them. Retired a few years ago and was looking for my next passion, and I knew sort of what I wanted to do, but I didn't know who I was going to be doing it with or how I would get to where I wanted to be. And through a number of missteps, I think, I found Age Well, who used to be the Agency on Aging, and I knew of them, but I didn't know they had changed their name. And Age Well is such an appropriate name for them. Who doesn't want to age well? And many people are unable to do that, and it's very eye-opening to experience the situations that people are in, who don't have food, who don't have means to even get in touch with people sometimes. They are lonely, they are not checked in on, they really don't have others to be in their community. And Age Well does an amazing job of creating community, as well as creating the support systems for everything that's needed for someone to age appropriately. And we who are privileged don't really understand until we can get in there and in the trenches and see how people really are living so underserved. And Age Well is just a bright light in all of that. They provide services in terms of Meals on Wheels, which everyone is familiar with, but also little things like shopping for someone who can't get out, finding social services for someone who needs them. I experienced a woman the other day who couldn't move in her home, and she needed help just getting a phone to her hand. Just the littlest things that we don't think about day to day. Age Well will help with taxes, people moving, getting some yard work done, just playing a card game or taking a walk with someone or providing some respite care for someone. There isn't anything I don't think that they wouldn't provide for someone who needed it or find a service that does that. So I can't, say enough accolades about Age Well, but I'm so thrilled to be part of their agency, and I'm really here to just sell them to everyone who has a minute or two or three to offer up. Volunteering is a way to fulfill your life in so many ways that you never imagined possible. So I hope everyone will consider volunteering for Age Well. Thank you so much.
So great to hear once again from Susan, and once again, congratulations for such amazing community service. Really, thank you, Susan. Now we're going to move on to really the business portion of this meeting. And with that, just really wanted to give you a bit of a look back at the last financial year. As members will hopefully know that our financial year begins on July 1st and ends on June 30th. So this would be for financial year 2022, which began on July 1st, 2021, all the way to June 30th, 2022. Looking back over the last 12 months, first of all, a bit of a photo collage. Hopefully members will recognize many of these pictures. Just to point some things out, you'll see obviously our celebration of Earth Week there on the bottom left. Hopefully the black and white picture will resonate with some of our longtime members because we celebrated 20 years, amazing, in the downtown. And then there toward the center, you'll see the celebration of our Ceiling Grant celebration. With that, if we think about some of our successes, and just very briefly, we certainly looked at everything from reopening our salad bars and our seating areas. I'm sure members were very, very excited to see that. We sure were. We also redesigned our South End produce department. Many members may remember some of the feedback that we received over the years in trying to make sure that our organic and our conventional products were closer together versus being on opposite ends. Certainly we relaunched our website, and I certainly hope members have had a chance to look at that. Very, very exciting, and a lot of hard work that went into that. And then certainly if we think about one of the key achievements at the end of the financial year was the negotiations between our management and our union negotiating teams. Really coming to an agreement with a lot of goodwill to a new 2-year contract. As we look at some of our challenges, we did have also quite a few. Recruitment and retention continue to be a pretty significant challenge for the co-op, but also in food retail overall. In addition, we had supply chain issues, and I think members will recognize that inflation has certainly had an impact on the price of food overall. Some statistics that we have also received that over the last 2.5 years, food at home costs have gone up approximately 20%.
Wow.
That's a pretty significant increase. And then certainly the new normal that we live in with COVID upon us, certainly toward the early part of the last financial year, we were finally able to reopen our stores in a way we were able to invite all of our customers without having customer number constraints. We still abided and had to adjust to various masking mandates from the city. And then certainly we continue to conduct contact tracing within our stores, recognizing that for us as the co-op and as members will understand, safety remains our highest priority. And then certainly in the midst of all that, wanting to really help support our staff who work so hard to self-care and for their general well-being. So just a quick snapshot of really the year in review. Let's then move on to obviously an exciting area that we always like to talk about around community impact. The first area is really around our Food for All members and the importance and the focus that we continue to have as a co-op on food insecurity, certainly a challenging topic here in Vermont, but also across the country. As members may know, for those members who are on some form of federal assistance program, they receive a 10% store-wide discount and then a 15% discount on all their purchases with bulk and produce items. And so over the last year, our Food for All members make up approximately 10% of our membership, about 1,200 members. And then in terms of the increase of sales, as you can see, it was a pretty significant increase. And this was really driven by the fact that the pandemic EBT program helped allow households to be able to tap into these benefits. So overall, throughout the last year, Food for All members were able to essentially reallocate approximately $300,000 towards other expenses, much needed expenses in their lives. Once again, something that we're very proud of and something that is really close to our hearts.
Now we get to highlight one of our favorite events of the year, the annual COTS Tree Sale. The COTS Tree Sale last year marked its 24th year overall and its second year at both stores. And we sold a record 750 trees. As always, our member worker volunteers really helped make this sale happen, and all proceeds went to the Committee on Temporary Shelter, which is the largest service provider for people who are homeless or marginally housed in Vermont. And in addition to this donation, for every tree purchased, we supported the Intervale Center in planting trees across our region. So with 750 trees sold, that's 750 new trees planted as well. We also have the opportunity now to look at some of the donations we've made this past year, partnering with dozens of local organizations to support their work. So some of the things you can see here are young entrepreneurs from the King Street Center's lemonade stand, ABC 22 on site at the South End store for a food drive in support of the Vermont Food Bank. That's one of 2 food drives we supported last year. 5 nonprofits that received co-op seedling grants, and the member committee who helped us select seedling grant recipients. We're also really excited that we were able to hold the seedling grant ceremony in person for the first time since 2019. And due to the record number of applicants this year, we are actually increasing the amount of funding available next year to $40,000. Rally for Change also continues to be so strong thanks to the generosity of you, our members, at the checkout line. And this year we passed an all-time total of $1.5 million raised since the program launched in 2014. Such a milestone. I'm so proud of everyone. Some additional highlights from the past year include our sales of May All Be Fed hats in support of the Northeast Organic Farming Association of Vermont's Farm Share program that provides a half-price CSA share for limited income Vermonters. And we supported the City of Burlington's second annual Juneteenth celebration. In addition, our union contract now designates Juneteenth as a time-and-a-half holiday for co-op staff. Staff also dug into paid volunteering opportunities and joined others around the state to help prep community garden spaces during the Vermont Garden Network's Day in the Dirt program. And we were able to support March for Meals, which is AgeWell's fundraising campaign to help sponsor Meals on Wheels opportunities for Vermont seniors. We were also able to support many other worthy programs and activities over the past year.
Now let's talk about the classes that we offer here at the co-op. Once again, if you haven't taken a class, we'd really strongly encourage you to. You'll have a wonderful time. So looking back at the last year, we had about 117 classes, and we had over 2,000 attendees. And some of these attendees, that you'll be surprised to know, attended virtually as far as Japan and Australia. So just thinking about our reach is not just local, not national, but global. And certainly as we think about our classes, half of our classes now are offered virtually while others are in person. This has really been able to allow us to expand sort of the offerings that we as a co-op can offer all attendees. The other thing also to note, and I think this was very exciting for our younger members, that we had the return of our Kids Club free fruit stand. Once again, if you have your young ones that come into the store with you, they're able to pick up a piece of fruit in the produce section. Always a fun experience. We were also able to celebrate 450 birthday gifts for the Kids Club participants. So exciting.
That's great. Thank you, John. And I really also recommend taking a class. I, in fact, took a City Market class at Brat Bakehouse just a few years ago, and I learned so much about sourdough baking. It was great. So lastly, we really want to applaud again our incredible member workers and their support for our outreach partners. As you can see here, member workers volunteered over 11,000 hours of their time last year. And member work is just such a great way to give back to our community while simultaneously earning a discount at the co-op.
And also, there's never been a better time to sign up because, exciting news, we have 3 new community outreach partners in the Fletcher Free Library, the People's Farm Stand, and Spectrum Youth and Family Services. Once again, as Christina, you mentioned, a great opportunity to volunteer in the community, learn about what all of our community outreach partners are doing, because they do such amazing work. And thinking about amazing, let's talk about our staff. I think members will recognize, we certainly do, how hardworking, how dedicated our staff are and continue to be. And so we really want to recognize them. And some of the things in which we did this over the last year was we had an appreciation bonus that started in October and ended throughout the financial year that equated to about over $500,000 of additional funds for our staff. And certainly, as mentioned very early on, we had our union negotiations that went very smoothly, a lot of goodwill, a lot of hard work, really to achieve what was best for the entire staff between our union and our management team. So really just great to see that cooperation amongst everyone.
The co-op's People and Culture team also continues to find ways to support staff well-being, professional development, and hobbies and paid opportunities outside of work. Pictured here are our staff participating in Day in the Dirt for the Vermont Community Garden Network.
I think members may also maybe not be as familiar about this, but at the co-op, we really are guided by 6 different values that you'll see in the presentation here, from kindness, diversity, responsibility, fun, learning, and positive impact. And over the past year, we focused on staff having opportunities to experience all of these with a number of different activities that included everything from holiday gift wrapping and card making for local seniors, implicit bias training with CQ strategies, LGBTQ plus best practice training with the Pride Center, dismantling racism trainings with the Peace and Justice Center, a tour and a site cleanup at Green Mountain Compost, and a staff barbecue and a baseball game with the one and only Lake Monsters, which hopefully, if you might have been to one of their games, just a fun time and a great partnership that we were able to have with them. So once again, just a way to really celebrate our values amongst our staff here at the co-op. Now let's move on to sort of the sales and performance aspects of the co-op throughout the last 12 months. So you can imagine it's been a challenging time and continues to be, obviously dealing with the new normal of COVID. As you can see from the screen, that it highlights our sales growth over the last 4 years. And you can see that the sales have been fairly static, especially over the last few years, driven really because of the impacts of COVID. But as you'll see in the pie charts, members still contribute over 60% of those sales. And the one area that we always like to put a lot of focus on is around our local contributions. And as members will know, local is defined by products that are grown or predominantly produced here in Vermont. And then as you look at the sales contribution between our 2 locations, they're about even. which is something something that we envisioned a long time ago, and now is great to see that it's really settled in that way.
So as John mentioned, local products are still a key part of our co-op's success, and we saw just under $22 million in sales of locally grown and made in Vermont items in the last fiscal year. So that is $4 out of every $10 spent at the stores. It's a huge percentage. Our purchasing team works with 396 local vendors. Those are both big and small folks, and we were excited to welcome 26 new local vendors over this past year. Another area where our co-op and other co-ops around the country have renewed focus is in supporting Black-owned businesses. We currently carry products from 12 Black-owned businesses, and including 3 that are locally produced right here in Vermont. Those are Stratford Organic Creamery, Global Village Cuisine, and Zen Barn Farms. I actually have the Global Village Cuisine chickpea tagine in my freezer right now. I'm really excited to try it. I've heard super great things.
The next couple of slides will show the past 3 years of our sales performance. And you'll notice that for the first year in FY 2020, which is really when we were in the early stages of the pandemic, some of the really significant fluctuations in the actual sales per month during that Feb, March, April timeframe. But then fortunately, over the last 2 years, you'll see that things have started to stabilize a little bit lower than pre-pandemic, but nonetheless stabilized. If we move on to looking at customer visits, or sometimes we reference these as transactions, once again, that first year in 2020, because of the pandemic, we really saw a slight decline really towards the early part of the calendar year between that January to June timeframe. But over the last couple of years, things have once again started to stabilize in a way that we feel is promising as we look into the future.
Next, we get to talk a little bit about the co-op's environmental commitment. And as you may have heard, one of our long-standing environmental programs, our iconic Earth Week bags, saw their final run this past year. But don't worry, we haven't stopped celebrating Earth Week. So stay tuned for a renewed celebration in 2023. This past year, we also adjusted the rule changes for compost and food scrap collection in Chittenden County. And we launched an exciting film plastics pilot project. This is a huge environmental issue, as you know, John, that has long been a challenge for businesses committed to the environment, because film plastic is just so hard to recycle. So we found that we were not the only business struggling with this problem in the area, and we started working with Burton, Chittenden Solid Waste District, Casella, Outdoor Gear Exchange, Ski Rack, Patagonia, and OnLogic to launch a 3-month pilot program to collectively divert film plastic from the landfill. And since then, we've extended the pilot through 3 quarters of the fiscal year. We've collected data over the course of this pilot, which we'll use to continue developing the program with the goal of really offering it to other businesses in the community.
Some other things, Christina, that we have done throughout the last year. The first, and hopefully members will have remembered that with our downtown coolers, we retrofitted and replaced them, especially the cooler doors that help save about 65,000 kilowatts each year, which is a pretty significant energy savings. At the same time, it's allowing our staff to be able to stock products from behind, which allows hopefully a better experience with our customers. The other area is around air filtration, something that we probably haven't spoken enough about, but we wanted to share with members, especially with COVID. We upgraded our air filtration system to what they call the MERV 13s. The MERV 13s remove about 99.9% of all airborne particulates, including airborne viruses. And so if you can imagine, if you're shopping on the floor, that essentially the air is recycled and cleaned about 2 to 3 times an hour. That's about every 20 minutes. And we feel that was really, really important, especially in light of the concerns with COVID and trying to minimize the spread of COVID. So once again, just wanted to mention our commitment as a co-op to the environment remains strong, and we'll continue to pursue other opportunities throughout the next and future years.
Hey, now since it is member meeting, we get to talk about you, our member owners. We did see 11,965 members at the end of FY22. Again, that ended at June 30, 2022, and that was up from 11,943 at the end of the previous year. Membership levels, as you can see here, did see a dramatic peak after the opening of the South End store 5 years ago. It's hard to believe it's already been 5 years since we opened this store. And then we saw a rebound that was partially stifled by the pandemic. So we're now again seeing some stabilization and starting to grow our membership again. So I'm pleased to report that we have now surpassed the 12,000 mark once again, and we have 12,145 members. Woo! Welcome, new members.
And as we think about our members, we really put an effort to ensure and build awareness around the benefits of membership throughout the last year. We conducted 2 membership drives, one in October and one in April. And as a total, we actually were able to entice approximately 1,800 new members to the co-op. Amazing.
So exciting.
And that was compared to about 1,600 the year before. So quite an improvement, and we hope that we'll continue to entice more new members because this month in October, we have our member drive happening right now.
That's right, John. Right now, you can join or renew and receive a $5 savings coupon. Plus, thanks to our friends at the neighboring Food Co-op Association, all new members will be entered to win some great prizes. Those include a pair of Cabot limited edition Meyer skis, day passes to Mad River Glen, a $100 REI gift card, and more.
Oh my word. We need to have members really coming in the door.
It's pretty exciting.
It is. And with that, let's look forward to what we have in the upcoming year. A number of exciting things. So as Christina mentioned, we have the member drive happening now. And then just in about a week's time, we have our 802 discount day. Remember, that's 802 discount on all local products. And as we've talked about a number of times throughout this presentation, the importance of local here at the co-op. And then soon after that, we have, hard to believe, our 5th anniversary celebration here in the South End store.
Wow.
Oh my word, has it been 5 years? And then certainly we have our Cotts Tree sale starting up at the end of November.
Let's see if we can surpass our 750 tree record set last year.
Let's try that for sure. And so for everyone who's thinking about where to buy their Cotts trees, it starts on November 30th in the downtown and December 2nd here in the South End. And then last but certainly not least, we have the co-op's 50th anniversary celebration happening in the fall of next year. I know people probably want to know what are the details happening. Please stay tuned. We're planning to see how we can really make that celebration as amazing as possible. And just to reassure people, yes, we want to have things done in person. So stay tuned.
Hey, thank you, John. And I'm just so excited to celebrate our 50th anniversary with you next year. And as I've been reflecting on this milestone, one of the things I really love about being a member owner of the co-op is that whether you were a founding member back in 1973 or you joined today, we are all a part of that story.
So just a quick reminder again, voting is now open throughout Wednesday, November the 2nd. And so we really encourage you to vote for the amazing board candidates that we heard from. And at the same time, we recognize that we think some members might have some questions, so we're now going to open it up to some Q&A, and we hope some questions start to flow in.
All right. Thank you to everyone who contributed to our Q&A tonight. Our first question is for John. Is it likely that the car charger at the downtown store will be repaired soon?
Great question. And car charging is certainly an area that we want to continue to provide as a service to our members in our community. Yes, we are in the midst of fixing the car charger in the downtown. Thank you so much for your patience. And please stay tuned as we certainly look to fix that and make that available.
Thank you. And another one for you, John. Is there a plan to reopen the sandwich counter in any capacity in the near future?
Ah, the sandwich counter. That is certainly an area that we've received a number of questions on. We recognize that, yes, prior to the pandemic, the sandwich counter was probably one of our most popular service offerings at the co-op. I can still picture the queue of lines and members and customers requesting customized sandwiches. At this time, we aren't planning to reopen it, partially because we do have some staffing challenges, and as mentioned earlier, while we are continuing to try to recruit staff for our various departments, and certainly for our prep foods department that oversees the sandwich line, for the time being, we're going to continue with our current service, which is making pre-prepared sandwiches. We've received a lot of positive feedback on the convenience of them, and we'll continue to monitor the situation. If we're able to reopen our sandwich line for customized sandwiches, we certainly will do. But just to manage expectations that for the foreseeable future, we're probably going to hold off on that service. But at the same time, look at trying to enhance some of our other prep food services, especially around the hot bar and the cold bar. So thanks so much for your understanding and patience there.
Thanks so much. Another question we just got. I heard that 2022 was the last year reusable bags will be given out for Earth Week. Can you explain the reason for this decision? Maybe we all have enough reusable bags. And perhaps any ideas you're thinking about for next year's Earth Week? I think, John, can you answer this?
I'd be happy to. So I know that the Earth Week bags have been popular every year. We've gotten a number of inquiries from members and from customers alike who have even collected the different types of designs. And we've certainly tried to be as creative as possible with those designs. I think we've gotten to a point where we have circulated many bags over the years. We want to be cognizant that as much as those bags are used, we also feel that at this point we want to hold off in producing any further, because we believe we've put so much investment in making those bags available throughout the years. However, we are thinking about what type of offering we might provide for Earth Week next year. At this point, I can't give a clear answer in terms of what that might be, but we want to be certainly cognizant of, in the spirit of Earth Week, and certainly being mindful of our wonderful planet, how and what we might be able to offer. But as it stands right now, in terms of the bags specifically, this was indeed the last year, and we're going to take a pause on that, hoping that over the years you've been able to take advantage of those Earth Week bags. We certainly see them all across the community. It's been great to see, and hopefully it certainly has made an impact to avoid people using various sort of disposal bags and such.
I definitely have quite a few.
Yes.
We will all miss the bags. John, what's going on with the Champlain Parkway construction, and how is it affecting the South End store and customer access to the store?
Yes, no, that's a great question. I think first and foremost, we recognize that the construction that members and customers are currently experiencing around the South End store is challenging. We are certainly working closely with the city, with the construction company, and with the community to best navigate what we anticipate will be a fairly lengthy period of time where customers and members and staff will be inconvenienced by much of the construction. As it currently stands, as members will know, and as you come and visit and shop at the South End store, that at times many of the roads are either partially closed or being rerouted so that customers have to take different routes to get to the South End store. Some of the things, though, that we did want to make members aware of, and certainly do share this with your friends and others who might be coming to shop here at the South End store, is that on the days where Flynn Avenue is not fully open, so where both sort of the to and coming of traffic is not open, that we will be opening the emergency gate that leads onto Briggs Street as an exit only. And so I think just to note here that it's only when Flynn Avenue is not fully open. So if it's a one lane where there are flaggers directing traffic to and fro, in those situations, or if it's fully closed for some reason, then we will be opening up the emergency gate as an exit only from the co-op, and then being directed to the right to Home Avenue. So that is one of the things that we have shared that news on our website. But we understand that that would be good information for members and certainly customers to know. In addition to that, I think as it relates to other construction that's happening around the store, we would just ask everyone to keep an eye on the ChamplainParkway.com website. That's where also we are constantly monitoring to see any new information that comes up. Members will know that there is some additional work that is happening very much in the next week or so, or starting in the next week or so, around blasting. And so once again, we too are trying to get an update on that status. But we recognize that for at least the next 2 to 4 weeks plus, there'll be a number of challenges at times being able to access the South End store. But we certainly hope that members and customers will continue to access the South End store. We've certainly experienced some impacts on that, whether it be around the number of customer visits and the overall sales. But we do hope that we can try to best navigate and work cooperatively with all of you, the community, and the city to get through this time with all the construction that's going to continue with us for quite a good length of time.
That's very helpful. Thanks, John. And just a quick follow-up to that. How will the entrance to the South End change with the completion of the construction there? I often parked on the side inside instead of the parking lot when I needed to grab something quickly, like a yummy paradise wrap.
Yes, well, first of all, we do appreciate members and customers parking on Briggs Street. Obviously, we created this 117-car parking lot to really accommodate really customers to shop at the store. As it relates to once the Champlain Parkway project is complete, we do have an understanding with the city to be able to revisit the emergency exit onto Briggs Street. And there are other plans in terms of even looking at Briggs Street and how that will change as it relates to the completion of that project. So I would say at this point, we do have an agreement with the city to revisit that exit. And I think members will know that initially our plan was to look at 2 entry and exit ways into the South End parking lot. And due to obviously the Champlain Parkway project, we've held off with one just being an emergency exit at this point. But certainly once the project is complete, we'll be revisiting that, and hopefully we hope to be able to make that accessible and usable for customers in future.
Great, thank you. Changing the subject, with the worker shortage, this is for you, John. Is there any way members could work to fill those gaps as we did in the old days?
So, great question. I remember being asked this even when I first joined the co-op a little over 7 years ago, when we did have member volunteers here, much more prevalent in our stores. I think the short answer to that is even though we do have a worker shortage at times, we're making great progress. Actually, our staffing levels are probably better than they've been in quite a long time. I think that's partially driven by the great work through our negotiations between the union and the management to have starting wages from $15.50 to $21, as well as paid parental leave benefits and other benefits that were negotiated as part of the 2-year agreement. So in the shorter term, we don't foresee possibly increasing the number of volunteers here in our stores. But that's not to say that we wouldn't look at that in the long-term future. But at this point, we feel that our focus is on wanting to make sure that we have staffing levels through our recruitment and training and retention plans to be able to really best meet the needs of our customers and our members.
That's great, thanks. Now, would you consider having a box near the front of the store for people to donate or grab a new to them reusable bag?
I would say that we'd have to give that some thought. I do know of some other co-ops, some other smaller co-ops that have trialed that type of approach. One that comes to mind immediately is our Portland Food Co-op in Portland, Maine. John Crane being the GM there, and he and I have spoken, and he had mentioned that they had trialed something along those lines. I think one of the learnings that I gained having spoken to him and their trial there was just around the area of cleanliness with the bags, and then ultimately also the number of bags and that being available. And when you look at an organization like City Market and in the size and scale that we operate in, I think there are some challenges on both fronts. The cleanliness factor is an important factor to consider, and certainly in terms of making it available and also being able to provide for many people, I think ends up being a bit of a challenge. But certainly we'll take things into consideration, and just by that question, I'll certainly have a discussion with our team. But I do want to I guess, address the member's question in that we have, and I have certainly, once again, looked at some other co-ops and how best to address the area of bags, and understand that some other co-ops have tried and have struggled and have had some challenges with such a program. But I really do appreciate the idea and the suggestion.
Yeah, it's a really interesting suggestion, and I will also, one of the things that I've been trying to do every once in a while when I do forget one of my iconic Earth Week bags is grab a box when it's available at the front end, which is great because it's super convenient to put in my car, and I also have 2 cats at home, and they just love to sit in my whatever box I've brought home that day.
That's very creative, Christina. I love it. This question is for you, Christina. How is the board emphasizing diversity and Jedi work?
That's a really great question. And again, we're thinking about Jedi as justice, equality, diversity, and inclusion, or equity, diversity, and inclusion, rather. So we really recognize that our membership base in the Burlington area is diverse, and our board should reflect that diversity. So we've established a perpetuation committee, as I mentioned earlier, to continuously recruit and engage members who might ultimately choose to run for the board. And that sort of base of potential board members also gives us an opportunity to think about appointments to the board in those cases where we have somebody leave the board before the end of their term. Sometimes people move away or they have other obligations that take them away from serving on the board. So this work is one way that we are emphasizing our commitment to recruiting board members with diverse backgrounds and perspectives, and really thinking about how we can best show our commitment to diversity, equity, and inclusion as board members.
Thank you, Christina. It looks like we have time for just a few more. John, any plans to bring plastic wrap recycling back for customers?
Another film plastic question.
Yeah, I think at this point, once again, we want to be really cognizant of the type of packaging and specifically around general waste here in our stores. We've really put in a lot of time and effort over the last number of years just looking at waste management. I think members will know that in previous years I've reported about how much we've been able to increase our composting waste, certainly increase our recycling waste, and try to reduce our landfill waste. And so I think it's that in mind that we're trying to continue to emphasize how can we look at really addressing those 2 former areas, composting and recycling, while really trying to reduce the area of landfill waste. So from that standpoint, certainly we'll look at sort of any type of waste or any type of packaging using those filters.
Thank you. The next question for John is, how has inflation impacted the co-op?
So as I said earlier, one of the challenges really over the last year or years really is around this area of inflation. And as I mentioned, the food at home inflation rate has gone up about 20% over the last 2.5 years. And for members' reference, that's essentially saying that the cost of food has gone up by about 20%. Now, our purchasing team have done an amazing job really looking at everything from the cost of various foods, and then certainly looking at the supply and demand around various types of foods as well. We're trying to manage through this, but the reality is that food prices have continued to rise for a variety of reasons. And so in this area, I think we're just going to continue to closely monitor how we can best balance the price of our products. As you can imagine, as a co-op, we want to really stress the importance of accessibility. We offer products that are what we consider good, better, best. Everything from our co-op basic items as good products, all the way to those types of products that are on for special occasions. And so it's really keeping that in mind and trying to balance the area of inflation with our food costs that we'll continue to manage. It's hard to really give a straightforward answer in terms of how best to manage that, aside from really looking at the various types of supply chains that our team periodically reviews and makes sure that ultimately you can keep food accessible in all the different ways for all of our customers coming to our stores.
Thanks so much. It looks like we are just about out of time.
Great. So I guess, just to start by saying, thank you, members, for all your questions. And if there are any other ones that we were able to address in the time that we had, we'll certainly plan to follow up and get back to you afterwards. I also want to really take a moment here to thank a lot of the people who work behind the scenes that members may not know of, but I really want to give a shout out to on behalf of really from the board and myself. First of all, the community engagement team. I think they've been mentioned a couple of times throughout the presentation, but they've done an amazing amount of work in the preparation with the presentations and all the lead up work, including the tabling with the snack packs, the communication in general. And certainly our IT team, who have worked behind the scenes to make sure that the technology is working smoothly. I hope all of you had a very smooth experience. I suspect you have. And then certainly our prep foods team with the amazing snack packs that they put together. Specifically also, I wanted to give a special shout out to Todd Taylor and Carly Sayer, both who were lead people in putting together really the member meeting work. They've worked very hard with the rest of the team to really coordinate and make sure that things run smoothly, and certainly to make both Christina and I as prepared as possible for this presentation. And of course, from myself to our board, Christina being the representative as the board president, but really to the full board, thank you for your support throughout the last year. Obviously, without your stewardship and your guidance and your support, we weren't able to do this together. So really, thank you, Christina, on behalf of the board for all your support and service.
Thank you, John, and thank you to everyone behind the scenes who's helped to make this meeting happen. And thank you to all of our members for joining us tonight. See you next year for our 50th anniversary.
Good night.